In this episode, latest model guidance is locked in on an extreme Arctic outbreak that will impact millions. Then, the wild jet stream could spin up some ugly storms for the eastern half of the nation. So in this video, we'll break down all those details so you can be prepared. Hello everyone, it's David Schlotthauer here and welcome back to another video. If you are new to the YouTube channel and you really like these detailed weather videos, please consider subscribing if you're new, hitting the like button, and sharing this video with your family and friends on social media. Okay, so we are taking a look at the detailed European model for Friday, December 16th, 2022, and we can see where the heaviest snowfall is currently located here on the model for this afternoon. And we can see for the northern plains, we're looking at some light snowfall flurries over there, but strong winds will continue the blizzard warnings in that area due to ground blizzard-like conditions. And then, of course, we got some moderate to heavy snowfall of the remnants of what is left, Winter Storm Diaz, that has caused a lot of havoc across much of the central, northern, the Great Lakes, and now the northeastern U.S. So a big, nasty, impactful system that has really caused a lot of problems. Even back across California, this has been a huge, long week with a lot of winter-like problems in the U.S. But there's more coming to the United States. Another massive, very impactful, dynamic winter storm could really bring in the worst impacts. And I don't like hyping this up very much, but the guidance tells us a lot here that there has been some consistency among the models that a very significant winter storm is coming by the middle of next week. So you can see for the weekend, looking pretty good. Not much going on for your Saturday, for your Sunday. Get outside, do what you need to do. Going to be pretty cold if you're across the northern tier of the U.S., but otherwise looking bright and sunny with less wind problems to worry about. But it's going to be by Wednesday, perhaps by Tuesday evening, across the Pacific Northwest. This is where the next system will evolve from. So 102 hours out, Tuesday afternoon, December the 20th, literally one day before the shortest day of the year, or officially when winter is going to officially be rung in. And we can see, again, a little bit of snowfall over the Pacific Northwest. Could be heavy at times. Strong winds on this one as we have Arctic air in place. But it is going to get more dynamic from here. By the time we go into Wednesday night or Wednesday early morning, you can see over Montana, that's where we have the moderate to heavy snowfall, blizzard conditions, wind chill warnings, wind chill advisories. You can bet that, and blizzard conditions. So a lot of problems out there on the roadways. Unfortunately, another one of these dynamic systems going to set up shop. So by, say, Wednesday afternoon, by Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, that's the system right here, really going to explode. Wait until you see it by Thursday afternoon. Going to be very dynamic. So Wednesday night, that's where the snow is going to be on December the 21st. So literally the shortest day and the longest night ahead of you. And that means it's going to be very cold. A winter storm just in time for the first day of winter. Gonna really ring in. All right, so make sure you get ready for what I'm about to show you here. So by Thursday night, wow, very dynamic system. I mean, this is ridiculous. If this European model does pan out, I will tell you what, we are going to have a lot to talk about. Not only that, this would make national headlines, possibly, national headlines, and this would impact millions of people. Again, I'm not trying to scare you all here, okay? I want you all to understand that. What I'm trying to let you all know is there is model guidance showing a very big snowstorm because all of this Arctic air that has been locked up there in the Arctic Circle is going to slosh its way southward. And when we get these Arctic air masses that get so far south, like this one in particular, I mean, we have the freezing line all the way down into central Texas, and we get a lot of warm air advection ahead of it. we typically get a very, very dynamic system. And when you get a dynamic system like this, you typically squeeze out a lot of moisture in the form of very heavy snowfall, strong winds, much bigger temperature swings, and you get a lot of heavy rain out ahead of it. So a very dynamic system that we could be talking about in the works here. This is still 6 to 7 days away, so I'm not too worried about it just yet, but I'm just letting you know it is in the model guidance, and if this continues for a couple more days, we could be looking at a very big, concerning like winter storm that could be setting up shop here over the northern tier of the United States, like Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri, if you're in Indiana, Michigan, and even in the Dakotas and the High Plains are going to get in on this with heavy snowfall and strong winds. Look at this. By Thursday night into Friday morning, very heavy snowfall continues, and this system is really going to be a big problem if it develops as it is. Very strong circulation there, 978 millibars on this. My goodness, very strong system for Saturday morning, December the 24th. Christmas Eve could be very snowy for some locations here. A lot of lake effect snow, strong winds, cold temperatures. Perfect to have hot chocolate, coffee inside your house and watch a movie just in time for Christmas. And then Christmas Day, things look to kind of calm down a little bit. But if you're in the Pacific Northwest, we could be looking at quite a bit of freezing rain and snow with another system that could be developing. And this one looks to be a lot weaker than the others, but if it develops again, could be pretty impactful for the Pacific Northwest. So kind of a quick review on this. Very active weather pattern is coming up for the middle of next week, or the middle of this upcoming week, we should say, for December this 18th through the 23rd, or the 24th, that is, yes. Okay, so making that clear with you all, very impactful weather pattern coming. So now, how much snowfall could you be looking at? Well, with this system, if it pans out, 1 to 2 feet of snowfall potentially over Michigan, over portions of Wisconsin, and yes, over Illinois could see a foot of snow, and central and eastern Iowa could see 6 to 12 inches of snow, Minnesota 6 to 12 inches, Missouri possibly 6 to 9 inches of snow. That could be possible. And then of course, if you're in Quebec and Ontario, Canada, you could be talking about a lot, possibly as much as 12 to 24 inches if the European model does pan out the way it's showing. We can look at the last model run from 0Z, and we can see much more snow for portions of the Great Lakes. But this recent run has it a little bit more widespread, and that could impact a lot more communities. So now, why is this pattern going to be so wild? Why is it going to be out of control? Why are we going to see so much extremes going on? Well, you can blame it on the 500 millibar jet stream. This is at 18,000 feet above the surface, and just to the north of the jet here, we can see there's a lot of cold Arctic air. And again, when I show you the temperatures, you will be freaking out, okay? They are definitely concerning. That would warrant certainly wind chill warnings and wind chill advisories for not just a little population, but for a pretty big population. Something that could end up like this. And so when you look at our jet stream, we can see this trough really dropping southward here into the Dakotas, into the Minnesota region. South of that, look at this jet streak here, anywhere between 100 to 150 miles an hour, and north of that is where all the cold air is. South of that is where we have more of the warmer air, and that's for California. We're going to be very warm here and cozy, while you all are going to be shivering because it's going to be definitely cold out there. And look at this. By the time we go into Thursday night and into Friday, wow, this is, my goodness, very strong bowling ball shaped surface or upper level low pressure system. Very strong jet streak here at over 150 knots. That is absolutely unprecedented. You see that a lot in the northwestern Pacific Ocean. That's like over China, over kind of over Japan, but Over the US, wow, to the north of that, this is where all of your cold air will be. And again, wait until you see the temperatures. So that moves out into the northeast by the time we go into the end of next week, just in time for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But I'll tell you what, when you get a jet stream that strong, it brings extreme impacts, like temperature swings that are unprecedented. You get a lot of snow, you get blizzards, it's just a lot, okay? So in the short term, there are blizzard warnings and winter weather advisories for the Dakotas. This is the almost the fourth straight day seeing blizzard warnings up here. And then, of course, over here to the northeast, you're in the pink. That means a winter storm warning does continue for that area all the way through the next day or so, when that will finally move out of the area. Freeze warnings and hard freeze warnings are issued for California, for Arizona, due to very cold temperatures. So just a little wild out there, not as bad as it was a couple of days ago, but still, we're talking about some crazy weather patterns going on. So now, as far as these temperatures go, let me go over there. We can see by Monday next week, wind chills. Actually, these are your actual air temperatures from the European model, and we can clearly take note here, temperatures in the negative territory. It's going to be cold to begin with, but not as cold as it's about to be by Wednesday and Thursday. So going forward here, that the temperatures are definitely going to cool off. This is by Wednesday morning next week. Temperatures could be -20, -24, -40 up here in Canada, but that's where it ends. Okay, it's going to get even more colder as this cold front really swings into action. Look at these temperatures. Even as far south as Missouri by by Thursday afternoon, -3, possibly -5 degrees in St. Louis, Missouri. And up here, -25 to -30 degrees. Okay, and it's only going to get colder. Look at this. By Friday morning, -35 to -40 degrees potentially up here in the Dakotas, Montana, Wyoming. Very dynamic. And you can clearly see we have a curly Q on here. So this is where your surface low is going to be. And then you got all this cold air really wrapping in all the way around the system. So we are talking about a very dynamic system. Indiana by Friday morning, 4 degrees, and then you go like in Wisconsin, you're at 26 to 30 degrees, barely freezing, but boy, you get to Indiana, it would be very cold there. And this continues all the way into Saturday morning next week for Christmas Eve, very cold, -20 degrees. It doesn't budge much. Temperatures still in the negative territory, -5 to -30 degrees in some areas. So this cold air will really wreak havoc on a lot of agriculture, a lot of livestock. This is serious, and it's going to be discussed in my future videos. A lot of other YouTubers will probably start talking about this because of how serious this Arctic air mass actually is. Very cold indeed. Just be aware. What you need to be also aware of is the wind chills. You thought that was cold? Wait until you see the wind chills. So let's go all the way into next week. On Tuesday morning, wind chill values -35, -40 degrees, -50 up here in Alberta, Canada. If you're in Saskatchewan, Saskatchewan, that is, -40 to -50. But look at this. By the time we go into Thursday and Friday next week, especially here for Thursday morning, we could be looking at wind chills -50 to -60 degrees. That's historic. For Montana, -60. Look at the Dakotas. It might feel like -45 to -50 degrees because of how the winds are going to be. Winds going to be 25 to 40 miles an hour with gusts over 60. Combined with that with the very cold temperatures already, going to lead to extreme wind chill values. And that's why I think there will be wind chill warnings in this area, including from Missouri, where it might feel like -30 degrees on your Friday morning. Boy, just make sure you are ready for what's to come because it's going to be cold. Look at this. Might even feel like, let's go backtrack here. For Friday morning, it might even feel like 0 degrees in portions of the deep south. I mean, you guys were just in the mid to upper 70s and you're still kind of mild, and now you're going to really cool off significantly because of that Arctic air mass. That's how extreme the weather is actually going to be. And that will take us into Sunday next week in the next 8 to 10 days where this is likely to change. All right, really quickly, I wanted to compare another model as a Canadian model very quickly. Wind chill values, very significant, -40 to -50, and this continues all the way into Christmas Day and Christmas Eve with very bitterly cold temperatures for the Great Lakes. So now, temperature anomalies, going to go through this pretty quickly. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on it, all right, because you know already, it's going to be historically cold, right? So by Wednesday afternoon next week, this is for December the 21st, the first day of winter. It's going to feel like winter for sure, with temperatures that could be 35 to 50 degrees below average. Yes, below average, that is. 50 degrees in some areas. That is absolutely extreme, and that's why historic cold temperatures are very much possible. All right, and this is going to continue all the way throughout the end of the model run. Look at this, very cold in many areas, or 40 to 50 degrees below average in the Dakotas and Nebraska. Going to still be very cold in the wake of this Arctic air mass all the way in the deep south, with temperatures that could be 25 to 30 degrees below average all the way through Christmas Eve. Still remaining very cold up here with temperatures that are well below average into 25 to 40 degree mark below average for this time of the year. So make sure you bundle up because, yeah, we're going to have a lot of problems, I believe, by the middle to the end of next week with heavy snowfall, blizzard conditions, wind chill warnings issued. It's not looking good, and I want you all to make sure you are ready for this. But I have a really great idea on how you can get better prepared for this winter storm potentially, along to go with historic Arctic outbreak, very possible for the northern and central U.S. You can do that by subscribing right now for more updates on this Arctic air mass, and also leave a like and leave a comment in the section below this video to let me know on what you thought about this video. All right, I want you guys to be safe, because while it's nice this weekend, it shouldn't be too nice by the middle to the end of next week. It's gonna be a whole different story. But thank you all for tuning in to this fabulous video.